Hi, this is Ernie here. It was in February of 2020, before COVID 19 was declared a pandemic and before the lockdown started. My wife, who was then working as a nurse at Kaiser Permanente, was on her way to work, commuting through the metro train because it's a 2 hour drive, so she would rather ride the train going to work. I believe it was a holiday, so it was 8 a.m. She was at the Union Station. Suddenly, she felt like there was a strong earthquake, but actually, she was hit from behind and got knocked out. And thank God it was not a bad fall. She could have died right there had she fell badly hitting her head, but fortunately she did not and survived that. But then, um, and she was awakened by the cops. And good thing there were cops who caught the guy who did it to her. It turned out to be a knockout game that was recorded and streamed on live on Facebook. Or, I mean, I think it was on a social media platform. It was a game like a knockout game, and um, even though she survived that attack, it became traumatic for her that she developed PTSD. And because of that incident, she became scared of going out and scared of people. I didn't realize the gravity of her experience until one day we went to FedEx to send some parcel. She didn't want to go with me, so she stayed in the car. It was in a parking building. When I came back a few minutes later, I found her hiding underneath the dashboard. She was so scared and shaking because she heard some people coming. And that's when I realized that she has developed a severe PTSD. And for 2.5 years, she couldn't work. And she even requested me to find another place because she couldn't stay in our Fullerton home because it was very close to the train station. And every time she would hear the train come and go, she would recall that harrowing experience. And so we drove to Las Vegas, hoping that we could find a place where we could relocate. And fortunately, we found a newly constructed apartment building in Henderson, which is beside our church, where we would go to whenever we are in Las Vegas. And so we started renting that place. For 2.5 years, she didn't work because she couldn't. And you know what kept us afloat? And that's when the lockdown started. It was our online business because despite the lockdown, I was able to work from home and at the same time stay with her 24/7 because she needed my presence to make her feel better. And 2.5 years later, when the lockdown was being lifted and things were opening up, we saw a new village being constructed and being built right across the street. And so she said, if I want to work again, I want to work in that hospital. So we have to check if we can buy a house here. And so we were able to, despite the fact that she didn't work for 2.5 years, and we were on a lockdown. Our online business enabled us to still save money. That when it was time for us to buy a house, we were able to do so. To today, fast forward, she's now working and slowly recovering from her PTSD. And by the way, the house is 600 meters away from the hospital where she now works as a nurse. So, by the grace of God, this business has been given to us in preparation for that event that enabled us to cope and survive and even thrive. And I praise the Lord for that.